All right, here we go. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Again, this weekend is kind of recapping, recording this on a Tuesday, so I'm recapping this weekend in which we saw several blow-ups. Several athletes blew up and fighting each other the thing about all these athletes, whether it was Stephen Diggs blowing up on the sideline after they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, or whether it was Shannon Sharpe blowing up at the Laker game, or whether it was Ed Reed blowing up on camera on his Instagram Live when he was, pretty much forced out of the head coaching position at Bethune-Cookman. The one thing that I took away, and I think a lot of people who consumed it, or at least keep up with these pro athletes and keep up with the sport, have played the sport, are coaching the sport, are involved with the sport, have a son that plays the sport, whatever it is, the one thing that all of these blow-ups had in common were that all three of them were pro black athletes, professional black athletes. I use the word professional for a reason, all right? Professional black athletes that had a non-professional moment, right? That were not conducting themselves like professionals because they were triggered in some way. Again, I'm not the one to judge. I have my fair share of blow-ups, as you guys, if you listen to my podcast, the Move Swiftly podcast, if you know me, I have my fair share of blow-ups, so I'm not judging anyone on today's Move Swiftly thought. I'm just giving you or offering you a solution and offering you an understanding, all right? Because, like I mentioned, I myself have had my fair share of blow-ups, right? And just last week, I started to see why it's so important that once we have our blow-ups, and it's gonna happen, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but once it happens, we gotta figure out a way to shake things out. We gotta figure out a way to come to an agreement. We gotta figure out a way to move forward and not let one single blow-up turn into another blow-up, or turn into lifelong, hating each other and, hurting each other and things like that. It's very important that we do that. And the challenge is how. So I'll give you an example. And this actually happened last week. Last week, for those of you who do not know, I'm a teacher at a learning center that goes K through 5, right? And last week I was dealing with the third graders. I get a little bit of each and every grade, I work with each and every grade. That's kind of the position I'm in. They're already kind of putting me in this unofficial coaching position, right? That's why I was hired. So just last week, it was during the third grade recess in which there was a soccer game, and there was a huge fight between two black boys. I mean, to the point they're swinging on each other, calling each other names. One of the boys, his mom works at the school, so they're going in on his mama, and I mean it just got really, really nasty to the point where I had to stop the game, break them up. I sent one to the front, sent one to the back, and just made sure they separated for the rest of the day, right? So the next day, I made it a point. I spoke very sternly with them, like, look, we're going to play the game. We're going to compete. We're going to do all those things. All that stuff is great. I love the fact that you guys want to win. But at the end of every game, if you guys don't shake each other's hands, we will not compete again. We will not do anything fun out here. We will just sit out here, be bored, and do absolutely nothing. Got it? So just yesterday, I started noticing that once the game was over, there's a couple of them constantly making it a point to shake hands and do their thing and stuff like that. And I'm not, again, I haven't seen it long enough to tell you that it's a 100% foolproof long-term solution. But what I do know is if I stick to that consistency, and I make sure I'm re-emphasizing, like one of the things I do when I see one of them do it, I compliment that. I say, hey, good job shaking hands, good job doing this, and making sure you're noticing these things. See, that's what the important part is. It's not a matter, and see, what the world likes to do is they like to pay attention to the blow-ups. That's what makes headlines. That's what makes news. That's what makes for good TV, right? But the world does not, the cameras do not pay attention to when they shake things out, to when everything is cool. Like the apology that Shannon Sharpe gave over what he did is not going to make breaking news. It's not going to go viral, right? What's going to go viral is the fact that, he blew up at the Laker game and all that kind of stuff. And it's very important, because those kinds of things don't sell, that you who are listening to me now, make sure, you who are a consumer of my work, make sure you notice those things. Those are the things that I try to teach at the workshops and things like that, is notice the good things. And even though it may seem like something small, the fact that you as an adult, you as a superior are noticing those things, then it starts to become a regular and a consistent thing. So that has to be the mindset, all right? I dive deeper into all of this stuff. It's one website that you need to check out. It's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your teamwork and self-development needs, all right? Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.